As Jack Dorsey cuts 40% of the Block staff, people are asking, is this the new AI normal? Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief. Today we're talking about a story that, on the one hand, is increasingly familiar. A big public company announces a set of layoffs and cites AI as at least part of the catalyst. There are a couple things, however, that make this particular iteration of the story feel just a little bit different. The first is the magnitude of the layoffs, which represents one of the single biggest cuts in percentage terms in recent years. And the second reason this feels different is the way that it's being received, both in the markets as well as in the public discourse. On Thursday, Jack Dorsey announced that 4,000 employees at Block, formerly known as Square, would be laid off. That is a 40% reduction in headcount, almost half of the staff gone in one clean cut. Dorsey shared the memo that he sent to the team. Today, we're making one of the hardest decisions in the history of our company. We're reducing our organization by nearly half, from over 10,000 people to just under 6,000. That means over 4,000 of you are being asked to leave or enter into consultation. We're not making this decision because we're in trouble. Our business is strong. Gross profit continues to grow. We continue to serve more and more customers, and profitability is improving. But something has changed. We're already seeing that the intelligence tools we're creating and using, paired with smaller and flatter teams, are enabling a new way of working which fundamentally changes what it means to build and run a company. And that's accelerating rapidly. Now, Dorsey said that he had two options: cut headcount gradually over months or years, or get it all out of the way in one fell swoop. He argued that as loud as this decision might be, he thinks it's better than the morale hit that the slow leak of continual layoffs leads to. Now, I read the part where he cites the AI transformation as the reason. He actually doesn't use the term AI, which I imagine is very intentional, and it's not exactly clear if he's talking about some specific intelligence tool or system, although Block did incubate an internal AI agent called Goose last year. The agent was initially constructed as a harness for AI coding, but even back in March, Block was making use of the agent across non-technical teams as well. Brad Axon, the tech lead for AI at Block, said at the time, "We're seeing sales teams analyze thousands of leads in hours instead of days, content teams automating complex asset management, and project managers cutting administrative time by 75%. The emotional feedback we're getting, like 'I could cry, it was so helpful,' really shows how these tools are transforming daily work." Still, it seems pretty clear from Dorsey's note that he's not talking about a single tool, but instead is talking about the entire system that surrounds getting work done now. Indeed, I think the most important line here is this idea of AI, quote, fundamentally changing what it means to build and run a company. And yet, almost as soon as it was announced, there was at least one part of the conversation that was extremely skeptical that AI was the actual reason for these layoffs. Quantian summed up the feelings of many when they wrote, "Honestly, my reaction to Block is firing half their employees was, YTF does Block have 10,000 employees? Morning Brew co-founder Austin Reef writes, "Everyone is talking about the Square layoffs, but just a reminder, Robinhood has 2,500 employees and a market cap of $70 billion. Coinbase has 4,500 employees and a market cap of $50 billion. Square, with its market cap of $30 billion, just cut to 6,000 employees. I wouldn't say this is all of a sudden a symbol of AI transformation and leanness." Bond investor Will Slaughter certainly isn't buying it, saying, "In the 3 years from December 2019 to December 2022, Block more than tripled its headcount from 3,900 to 12,500. Unwinding less than half an insane COVID overhiring binge has much more to do with Jack Dorsey's managerial incompetence than whether AI is going to take your job." Slaughter continued, "It's abundantly clear that AI is allowing us to be more efficient is a much more appealing cover story than, I have no idea how to manage a budget or achieve operating leverage, just like at Twitter." The idea that this is a pattern in Dorsey's leadership was also prevalent. Alliant Capital wrote, "No one blinked when Elon Musk cut Twitter's workforce by roughly 80%, largely because the business had been egregiously overstaffed and poorly managed under Jack Dorsey. But now, as Dorsey turns around and cuts 40% of Block's workforce after years of similar mismanagement, the narrative suddenly shifts to AI doom rather than accountability." Whether or not this is an example of it, economics researcher and professor Alex Emas wrote, "AI laundering, or blaming AI for layoffs you were going to do anyway, is going to be a real thing." Now, the voices around this were so loud that Jack actually came back to address it. He wrote, "Yes, we overhired during COVID because I incorrectly built two separate company structures, Square and Cash App, rather than one, which we corrected mid-2024. But this misses all the complexity we took on through lending, banking, and BNPL, and that we're now targeting $2 million gross profit per person, 4x our pre-COVID efficiency, which stayed flat at $500K from 2019 to 2024. We have and do run an efficient company, better than most." Now, whatever you think of that, part of what makes this interesting is that this is maybe the most direct example of a CEO blaming AI for layoffs and restructuring that we've seen so far, We had the Amazon layoffs over the winter, which were prefaced by CEO Andy Jassy, describing the long-term effect that AI would have. But when the layoffs actually came, AI wasn't blamed. That memo, which came out last June, saw Jassy saying, "We will need fewer people doing some of the jobs that are being done today and more people doing other types of jobs." Basically saying that there were going to be efficiencies from AI that were going to be reflected in headcount, although again, this hasn't been cited in any of the rounds of Amazon layoffs that we've seen. Even where we've seen CEOs make headlines for discussing AI in internal memos, the connection directly to layoffs hasn't been as clear. Duolingo cut ties with their contractors as a direct result of switching to AI-generated content. However, CEO Louis von Ahn later backtracked and insisted the company hadn't laid off any full-time staff. Klarna reduced their headcount by around 40% after adopting AI customer service bots. However, their CEO later said this was due to natural attrition rather than layoffs. The attrition was reversed by hiring contractors in an Uber-like arrangement to replace the workers who had left. The point is that to date, we don't actually have a really clear example of a company massively slashing headcount due to AI efficiency gains and having that actually be the case. Another noteworthy aspect of the story, though, was the market's reaction. Block soared by more than 25% in overnight trading following the announcement. Even though layoffs are typically associated with stock pumps, this was still an extraordinarily large gain. At the same time, as some pointed out, even a 25% jump wasn't enough to put Block back on firm footing. The stock is down 40% since the beginning of 2025 and more than 80% from its all-time high in 2021. Even with this dramatic recovery, Block still isn't back to their opening price for this year. And yet, despite all the skepticism, it does feel like something of a turning point moment. Speaking with investors on Thursday night's earnings call, Dorsey said that most companies will have to make similar AI-related cuts in due course. He said, "I don't think we're early to this realization. I think most companies are late. Within the next year, I believe the majority of companies will reach the same conclusion and make similar structural changes. I'd rather get here honestly and on our own terms than be forced into it reactively." What's more, Dorsey also validated what we've been talking about on this show basically nonstop since the beginning of the year, which is that even within the context of AI, something big has shifted in the very near past. Commented Dorsey, "Something happened in December of last year, where the models got an order of magnitude more capable and more intelligent. And it's really shown a path forward in terms of us being able to apply it to nearly every single thing that we do. So if there are any gaps in our usage of AI right now, it's an application gap." Outside of the skepticism, the main take right now is that this is likely to be the beginning of a pattern. Writes Balaji Srinivasan, "This is the first AI cut and it will send shockwaves." Journalist Isabella Kaminska writes, "This is precisely how the Citrini doom loop begins. The prospect of short-term games like this outweighs concerns over longer-term externalities and negative feedback loops." Putting it more crisply, Crystal Ball writes, "Block just cut 40% of their workforce because of AI and were rewarded with a massive stock surge. Other companies are going to want to recreate this. Job loss could get very ugly very quick." Root2Fi writes, "This was probably the starting block. When Wall Street companies see that they can cut their employee stack by 30 to 40%, people they probably plan to fire for years anyway, and see that their stock pumps like this and just blame AI, easy mode. More companies will definitely copy this model." For some, it's a wake-up call about the need to adapt. Investor Tommy Shaughnessy writes, "The harsh but real truth is you need to be using AI every day to outperform and grow, or you will be fired." Balaji in that same tweet said, "For Jack to cut 40% of headcount in this way is a signal to everyone in tech. Get good now. Become indispensable, work nights and weekends, learn the AI tools and raise your game, or you might not make the cut as an employee or as a company. There will be overcorrection," he concludes, "but the fundamental technical innovation is real, and you need to either disrupt yourself or get disrupted." Throwing a little bit of cold water on that commentary, however, is Amanda, who works in developer relations at The Block, who writes, "All the commentary from folks about Block laying people off because they weren't AI native, I can assure you every single person I met at Block was using and making an impact with AI at levels on the forefront, not just devs. And in my team, AI was an ingrained part of our work. All of us. Not trying to scare anyone, but that's not it. Teams are getting leaner, period. You do need to master this tooling, but that alone will not make you stand out or protect you." I think broadly speaking, we are in a recalibration moment right now. Everyone, from the people in AI, to investors on Wall Street, to white-collar workers of all stripes, are grappling with the tools having crossed a critical threshold over just the last few months. I think part of what makes the energy feel so intense right now is that there's this big collective burst of realization that's happening all at once. When you see companies cutting 40%, or the announcement of a new plugin on Anthropic wiping $40 billion off of a company's market cap, those things are happening not because people have a really clear sense of where we are, Instead, they're happening because we are unmoored and have no sense exactly of where we are. We are in the midst of a dramatic repricing of everything as we try to grapple with what AI is going to mean, and that process is going to be chaotic. If there is a bright side in this, I think that the more dramatic nature of this move will help people slough off their complacency and actually engage with the reality that we're all facing. At the same time, I do not believe that efficiency cuts are the end game for AI in work. I think this is a period, potentially a very painful one, that we have to get through to get to the other side where the real opportunity lies. We will, of course, keep exploring these themes, but for now, that is going to do it for today's AI Daily Brief. Appreciate you listening or watching, as always, and until next time, peace.